Okay, this is Tab Dorando's property. I'm in the backyard, and here in the backyard we're doing a weed removal, and we're going to use a string trimmer in this area, and we're not spraying anything. We're just going to string trim it down, rake everything up and haul it. So there are some branches here. We're going to haul that as well. We'll just throw it in the trailer. Let's see, I wanted to take a look at the retaining wall. So looks like okay, that's just exposed soil, so we'll do our best to string trim around this. We're not doing any shrub pruning of any kind here in this area, so there are some volunteers like that one. We're gonna cut it all the way down to the ground, and I'm just repeating, we're not spraying anything on this property, just string trimming and then raking everything up. There are some plants, looks like, let's see. So we got some sages, like I'll point them out as I'm walking. There's a sage right here. All this, the rest of here is weeds. This is a sage, that's weeds. All of this on the ground level is weeds. There is a plant right there that we're gonna be careful to not destroy completely. We'll do our best to trim around it. And then there's a rosemary right here, right under this crepe myrtle. We're gonna preserve that, trim around it. And looks like this rosemary is followed up by a lavender, so we're gonna be sure to leave that, but string trim everything else. This rose right here, what we'll do is we'll just cut it back enough so we could get underneath it to get those weeds, but we're not going to trim it where it goes on the house or anything like that, but we'll trim it for clearance so we can use a string trimmer underneath. Let's see, I see there is a lavender right here, so I'll back it up. That's a lavender, but all this around it is weeds, so we want to make sure we string trim that. And then going into this area right here, this tree has a vine growing on it, so that's not part of the quote. We can do it, but for this job we're not going to be removing this vine. Same thing, we're gonna trim whatever branches we need to get underneath so we can use a string trimmer to knock down the weeds. Just gonna have to work our way through this. Some weeds here that are kind of growing up here. All of this is just string trim. We're not really pulling anything out of here. There are some trellises. We'll do our best not to hit that. So all these weeds here we'll string trim. The client said to leave this alone, not to do anything on this side of the yard, but we'll walk around here. And in this area also, there's a lot of lavenders. The client requested that we leave them alone, but just prune where it's coming out into the street. And then here in this patch, we are going to be hand pulling. Anything above 2 inches we'll be hand pulling. The rest we'll use a string trimmer to tidy it up. There are some Bermuda here, so the Bermuda, we are not going to be able to pull this. It just doesn't pull. We will use a string trimmer on Bermuda, and that's the best we can do. We do recommend spraying it, but in this case we're not going to be spraying anything, so we'll just use a string trimmer on the grassy kind of Bermuda right here. And then we need to prune back some of these branches so we could get underneath this tree and blow out all of the leaves and all of the debris in there. A lot of the tall weeds, everything here, we're going to be pulling by hand. We'll use a string trimmer to tidy up these joints in the concrete. Some right there as well. We're not pruning the lavenders. So standing here, it's a little hard to tell on video, but it'll be pretty clear once you guys are here. There's a sage here. There's some more sages on top. A few plants like the heavenly bamboo right here. But going in, we're just going to be pulling weeds like this, okay? And then, yeah, blowing debris. There's a lot of rocks in here and stuff. And there are wires for the lighting, and there is drip irrigation. So once we clear everything out, we're going to run drip irrigation. Any above ground leaks that are limited to the emitters, the 1/4 inch and the 5/8 inch tubing, we're going to make those repairs to make sure there are no leaks. And this is just for the front yard. The backyard, we're not doing any irrigation repairs. And that is it. That's it.